Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello again. Hi.
So, this is South Front, and South Front's all about military, everything military. You see two aircraft carriers lead a show of strength in the South China Sea as Navarro slams Beijing for spreading the virus. On the eve of Independence Day, the White House is once again stoking tensions with Beijing as President Trump continues to embrace aggressive rhetoric towards China as a key campaign issue that he hopes will help bring out more Trump voters, worried about Biden and or members of his family's dubious business ties to China and the Ukraine. Media reports claim the U.S. is sending not one, but two aircraft carriers into the South China Sea, one of the hottest flashpoints on Earth right now. At least one of the hottest flashpoints that's not situated along India's land border, or also right in the middle of the U.S. with all the protests and everything still going on.
I know, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, so you have the Reagan and the Nimitz scheduled to hold some of the Navy's largest exercises in recent years in the area, which is frequently beset upon by American destroyers sailing within 12 miles of certain islands developed by China that are the subject of competing international claims. You know, I think you'd have to be blind not to see what is being set up and what's coming. I mean, war is definitely on the horizon. This is most definitely building. And if you follow this channel, 3 world wars have been planned since 1871. So when I just looked at this made my stomach drop because I've never seen this before. Never. Usually you might have 2 carrier groups, over in this area. Typically you'll have 2 over here. You'll have some in port. You got 4 over in that area right now. In this, over here, the Eisenhower wouldn't take long to join them and could actually end up positioning itself, in the Indian Ocean perhaps. This is unusual, and the baton looks to be moving out of the area. As we see, it was here last week. We can see the movements here. This raises eyebrows to me.
Well, it made my heart sink when I saw it. Something didn't feel right at all.
Yeah, it definitely is unusual. I've followed this for years. I don't remember ever seeing the way we have our military situated like this. And then we got this. Now this I have not been able to see anybody else that says exactly the same thing in these terms. As it says, Chinese ships and aircraft are surrounding Taiwan. Now, what's going on though is basically big exercises. Beijing launches 5-day sea drill, angering Asian neighbors and U.S. So it's not as if China is going to start landing troops on Taiwan at this moment. They are conducting drills, and meanwhile, while they're conducting these drills, we have more military assets over there than I've ever seen before. And it just looks curious. I gotta wonder, is something really on the horizon? So the headline here is Taiwan readies for war against China. And this is NewsX, and they do have over 500,000 subscribers. They have a lot of subscribers. I'm not familiar with them, but again, so they're basically given the feeling that something could be imminent, especially with Taiwan. Now, remember, we had that eclipse, and the eclipse went right through India. Well, went through the Middle East. It went through India, went right along the disputed border with China, and then it goes straight across Taiwan. And now we see this, and you got to wonder, is there something that's going to be happening there very soon?
I know. Like my little spidey senses went off. It's just weird.
I mean, I could feel it, and I've been telling you guys, I really feel that we will have the outbreak of the big war by the time the year is out. I do think it's going to be started. I feel like, I've been feeling November, December, but anything could happen at any time. And, that's what we're definitely seeing a huge buildup and unusual military movement. So, leader of ultra-right militia, the Three Percenters, General Blood Agent, predicts the end of America by 2021 and warns of a new civil war. So this is a right-wing militia group. And, they're not the only ones. There was a lot of activity like that. You see militias flock to Gettysburg to foil supposed flag burning. And there were so many people, if you go on Twitter, you see so many people trampling the American flag today. And, this nation is more divided than ever. And here you see tons of armed militia people as well. And this was in Georgia, Stone Mountain, Georgia. So, we have civil war getting ready to break out, civil war / revolution. Obviously, we have, COVID going on, and that doesn't have any signs of stopping. And we have an agenda going on with COVID, as we were very well aware of. And the world seems to be setting up for WW3. Here you see another Christopher Columbus statue gets yanked down. And thrown in the harbor, too. So Columbus, Ohio did it, and this was Baltimore just did it as well. U.S. is installing a virtual AI border wall to monitor threats. I mean, we know FIVEG is just still rolling on no matter what else is stopped and not happening. And so here you see a virtual border wall being erected. 200 smart towers by 2022. Well underway and getting precedence, it seems. It's interesting. Michigan passes controversial bill to microchip humans voluntarily so they could protect their privacy. Laying the groundworks for eventual everybody get the chip. And meanwhile, we have bubonic plague cases sending Mongolian region along the Russian border into a lockdown. So, and then also there's the potential for a swine flu pandemic to sweep the globe as well. Exactly what we need in these times, right? U.S. moves to seize Iranian petroleum on a new tanker group bound for Venezuela, and I've been saying that could be one of the trigger points, some sort of military standoff, some sort of incident over there as well. Fire flares up at Iranian power plant. That's just the latest in a series of events, including a cyber attack as well, and Iran declines to disclose the cause of the nuke site fire. And right away I thought it's Israel. Honestly, as we see Israel plan to annex part of West Bank may prompt third intifada. Mahmoud Abbas advisor warns, and more than that, because Turkey might get involved, and then you really are going to have a regional war going. Iran, meanwhile, files lawsuit against the U.S. over sanctions with the ICJ. And Israeli cyber attack caused Iran nuclear fire, so says the report. F-35s hit missile base. So, is WW3 really underway already is basically the question. And somebody today said World War II never stopped in the other chat we had going on. Moscow denies U.S. allegation of breach of underground nuclear testing moratorium. Meanwhile, the U.S., in case anybody forgot, pulled out of a whole bunch of agreements earlier. And here you see, wow, I'm speechless. China orders Australia not to gear up against China. Australia is not going to invade China, Australia has just a tiny percentile of the population of China. That's kind of funny. Meanwhile, China gears up against India, U.S., Australia, and the rest of the world. And this was a speech from China's #1 propaganda mouthpiece. And, most definitely we could see what's going on here. Chinese structures at Finger 4, Pasang Sao Lake. The question is, when's China going to vacate the land? The answer is it doesn't look like they're going to anytime soon, and they probably are going to move elsewhere. Meanwhile, India braces for two-war front with China as Pakistan moves troops to the border. And when this first came out, I said, as soon as this really hits, Pakistan will attack immediately. And that's part of the plan. And I do think China is counting on Pakistan to occupy India. Meanwhile, China will focus on taking Taiwan and then moving with Russia and other nations against the U.S. and the EU would be my guess. It feels like this is all playing out scripted, as I've been seeing for a long time. Going back, first times I had like visions of all this stuff playing out, I was literally at just 19. And so I've always expected this to come, not hope for it. I obviously want to put the energy out that we don't have it, don't have a war. And it's going to take the people all around the globe in different countries to just, tell the leadership to back off, because the world has enough to deal with without, having a third world war start. Of course, you also have countries that are facing food shortages and countries where the leadership wants to stay in power. And, when things get severe enough in these times and with food shortages and everything going on, then the leadership gets in danger of losing power. And, of course, those in power always care the most about staying in power.
Well, it's just because they love us so much. We all know that.
Yes, it's all for the common people, as we are always told. So, guys, thank you so much for your support. And please do subscribe to EEARTS if you have not subscribed over there yet. That's where we're doing all the earth changes, hidden history, health and fitness, wellness, ascension, spiritual stuff as well. And thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. As always, stay prepared out there. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.